Hello everybody, it's your Director of Agronomy, Joseph Danton. Wanted to start off by telling you all thank you so much for the past year. It was surreal to kind of have everybody back on the golf course, having the guys go out in front of play, cutting cups again, seeing the flags out. It was a very cool moment for me personally, and I know our entire agronomy staff to kind of see this thing to fruition. We got a ton of good feedback, ton of constructive criticisms, which we obviously welcome. We'll touch on a few of those. I'd also like to say the staff was electric Friday morning. So it's kind of funny, you know, after a year of living this buy-in that they just have, and that passion and that ownership that kind of developed through the past year was super cool to see. So everybody was extremely happy. So a few things that we wanted to touch on, obviously kind of the traffic and the restricted play. Just wanted to review that this first week after we opened. We're obviously closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The next few following weeks will be Monday, Tuesday, and those will kind of be on a case-by-case basis. Again, it's difficult to really feel this thing out kind of after just 3 days of play. So let's let it play out just a little bit longer. I know that it's not the most appetizing thing to hear, but I think and feel strongly that it's the right thing for y'all's investment long term. The putting surfaces at the practice facility definitely need to be spoken about a little bit. When you think about those, try to remember that those two greens are not an anomaly to the ones 1 through 18. They're new, and they are the only two without a concrete numerical restriction for traffic. So while we, here on number 1, we know that 88 people are gonna come on here, they're gonna putt, they're gonna leave, and that's it. The big and small putting green are gonna possibly receive, when they're open, 4 times that amount of traffic. So it's really important that we jockey those two around, one open, one closed. And on, like a week like this week, Tuesday, they were both closed. Not the most exciting news, but we're rooted in our logic and understanding that those two greens get the most traffic out of any other golf course green on Mira Vista's property. So we have to understand that if any need to be regulated, it's those two over any. So that's kind of our logic and thought process there. Obviously all falling back on the agronomic principle that we're about to go dormant. And we ding this thing up, those blemishes won't buff out until your March, April, Mays of next year. So just bear with us there. We're not going to hold on to something longer than we have to, but we're not going to give it up if we don't feel comfortable with it. And I don't want it to be viewed as a grass over member type of deal. I want it to be viewed as you guys have put me in charge to really protect your investment, and I take that to heart, and I'm going to do what is right. And so just bear with me here, and when we get a better vibe of what's going on, we will let go of the rope if we can. So some things about the golf course that we heard, greens firm, greens were at a good speed, fairways were good. We got a ton of feedback about the rough. Rough is thick. This time of year is way different than it typically is. So typically, just to give you a little bit of background, we'll be at 1 3/4 or 2 inches throughout the entire growing season, that May, June, July, August, September. And then once October comes, we kind of start to tick up as the day lengths shorten. This year's kind of an anomaly with these 90-degree weather, these 90-degree weather days. So that rough is at 2 inches, and it's much thicker than it typically is this time of year. We haven't caught a 50-degree morning yet, and we certainly haven't caught any 70-degree days. So we're trending much higher. What that means is that drop-off is going to be much more abrupt. As we come into late October, early November, you're going to start to get immediately days and mornings in the 50s, 40s, days in the 60s, 70s as you get past kind of Halloween. And that's typically when we start coming up in height. We go dormant at 3 inches in the rough, but you guys don't feel that because it's kind of laid over. So we want to make sure that plant has enough body to go into dormancy. And so as we're walking on it and moving around on it, and as we get these hard, dry freezes, that it's got enough body and carbohydrate storage to kind of weather those storms and then come out in the spring and not have a ton of desiccation. So be patient with us. The rough is going to change pretty quick for you. It's not going to behoove us to go scalp it down. You're going to punch it right in the teeth before it's going to go dormant. So just bear with me there for another 2 weeks. The feedback regarding the rough, I digest that and I say, hey, next year we're 1 3/4 or 1.5, and we're going to keep it down, and then we'll just keep it down and live at that height. 2 inches is too penal. So we hear you. We're going to make adjustments on our end. Coastal areas, good and bad feedback, just like we always get with those. You know, I think those are living and breathing. I think some, you know, we'll cut some down, we'll grow some up. I mean, I think it's going to be just kind of a big hodgepodge. So I know Andy said this in the last video. Give it time. So if we make these decisions, they're correct. We don't want to play it once or twice and go, you know, pull a lever we shouldn't have. So let's live it for a little bit in the dormancy process in the spring and summer, and then we can start really digesting what is a true issue, what needs to be kind of shuffled around. So again, we're very thankful from an agronomic standpoint. We're all things, you know, prep for dormancy. So we kind of rode in on these green sites a little bit lower, the fairway tee approach heights a little bit lower, trying to hang on for those opening rounds of golf. But everything will kind of start to come up as the weather cools off and those day lengths shorten. So we're trying to make sure all of our fungicide applications, fertility applications are buffing us up as strong as we can for the winter. So obviously the greens are most vulnerable, not a lot of organic matter, big pore space. That subsurface is going to get much cooler because there's much more air voids in that subsurface. So we need to make sure that we're kind of Loctite with our processes there. So we'll openly communicate as we go forward about anything that as we go into dormancy with the new turf that we might do, but it should be kind of back to a little bit more of a standard operating procedure as we go through October, November, and December. So get out there, get after it. A lot of open tee times is the word on the street. Thank you all. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for the support. And like I said, we're just going to get better and better and better. So thank you all.